We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route and how fast. Almost all the world's constitutions are documents in which governments tell the people what their privileges are.
Hey everyone, welcome once again to yet another episode of Two Noobs Talking. It's episode 88. I have John Tracy with me. I have Steve Murray with me. I am Matt Craig. We're all happy to have you with us. John, how you doing, man? You got a haircut.
Yes, I'm well. I'm a pound or two lighter.
I was just going to say, wow, you look a little different.
For all the people, it's not there anymore.
There you go. It's all gone.
It's gone.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't cry.
Feels kind of familiar up here too. Anyway, it's all gone.
This thing in the front is stopping that, because if this isn't here, you would, yeah. You guys saw it in pre-production. I'm not showing anybody else.
There you go. Exactly.
Henceforth, he shall be known as Comb-Over Jones.
That's the running mate for the 2024 presidency.
All right, Illinois Smith and Comb-Over Jones.
2024. Hop on the bandwagon right now. Let's go, baby. Steve, how you doing, man? I see you're dressed in a hockey jersey with an 88 number on it.
Yeah, I am. It's for the episode, and we're supporting Canada after the Pearson Toronto Airport incident.
Okay.
Ryan Whitney described as hell on earth.
Okay, there you go.
We do not support Trudeau. I just want to throw it out.
No, absolutely not. He's a lunatic. Yeah, absolutely. Well,
no, that was just a joke. This is purely for 88.
Yeah. I think there's something though that I'm trying to think of. I know it's who wore the episode number in the season.
We got quite a few, yeah.
We do. One of them was Alexei Shved. He is the last Sixer in the city of Philadelphia, the last one that we're going to review that ever wore an episode number. So what do we think of Alexei Shved, guys? Do you guys?
I don't even remember him. I just knew he wore 88. So.
I know he came off the bench and I think had 6 points somehow.
That knowledge is more than I have.
He was tall when he wore 88.
How do you signal that?
How do you know he was tall?
I don't know. I'm just.
He could have been 5'11" for all you know.
You wouldn't wear 88 if you're not tall in basketball. I'm just saying.
That's true. That's true.
You don't see the tiny guard wearing 88. It's just not a guard number.
That would be hilarious though if that were to happen. That would be great. But now that that's done, the Sixers are now over and finished, guys. How about that? We have a lot of...
In more ways than one.
In more ways than one, yeah. We have Dallas Goedert currently wears 88.
Hell yeah.
Eagles. Hell yeah. Great tight end. Trey Burton wore 88.
My man.
I mean, part of the Diamonds. I mean, that's just unbelievable. It was 88 plus Corey Clement was 30, and then Nick Foles was 9, so there was like 100 and some odd diamonds in their Super Bowl ring. That's pretty cool. Then some in the throwback machine, we had Keith Jackson. He was a hell of a tight end back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Can you imagine if he stuck around?
Oh my gosh, yeah. He went to Miami, I think. When the free
he made Dan Marino happy for a little while.
Him and Keith Byers went there, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
It was amazing. Yeah.
That was the whole sell-off of the shitty Norman Brayman era, where all the good players went to AFC teams. And then they started going to the NFC teams with the Cardinals. They had like most of our defense.
Oh, that's right, because Buddy went out there.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, Buddy went out there. And
like everybody went with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than Reggie, he went to win a Super Bowl, which Reggie's always
yeah. But then there's also John Spagnola. Buddy... Right? We had John Spagnola.
He could play tight end.
If you say so.
Yeah, he could play tight end.
Go ahead, Steve. What were you going to say about Buddy? Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say about Buddy. Then he went to Houston and punched a offensive coordinator.
Gilbert. Kevin Gilbride.
Kevin Gilbride, that's right.
Yeah,
Kevin Gilbride.
what a terrible punch, but it was a punch.
It was a good jab. I mean, it was like one of those where he had to reach over a couple of people.
Yeah, I thought he came over the top.
A little, yeah.
If they both weren't 60, Buddy would have got his ass kicked.
He was only 60 at that point?
I think so.
It's amazing. Guys, there was the one flyer that wore 88 in the city of Philadelphia, and I'm trying to figure out who it was.
Rob Brindamore?
No, it's 17.
Ilka Sinisalo.
I don't even remember.
23, great player though. That was a great. Yeah. No.
Bob Clark.
No, 16. I'm even thinking like maybe Desjardins, but that was 37.
Peter Svoboda.
There you go. What a hell of a player. That's another 23. What a hell of a player.
Yeah, exactly. A great defensive player.
He gets no love.
He does not. No, he's very underrated. Who was it? I'm trying to think.
I'm completely stumped. I got something to get back here.
Oh. No.
Yeah,
I have no idea who it was.
Yeah, not ringing a bell.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm trying to think.
I know he was good.
Did they give Gritty 88?
They might have, but
No, they gave him a 00.
oh, there you go.
So that's pretty cool to get 00. I mean, that'll probably be retired.
Not as cool as 88.
No.
I just wish we could think of who it was.
Who was it? I think if I remember right, he was. You know what? Let's introduce the first topic. Why don't we do that? Topic number 1. It's Eric Lindros, of course.
Oh! Yeah. I was going to go Dmitry Yushkevich.
Eric Lindros, guys. Topic number 1. Why don't we, since it's the 88th episode of Two Noobs, and we are huge hockey fans, all three of us, of course, we played it. We grew up watching Eric Lindros.
Oh, yeah.
Let's reminisce about the big piece. I mean, the first original big piece. The guy who built the Wells Fargo Center. Transitioned away from the Spectrum into the Wells Fargo. I mean,
or whatever it was called when he first got in there.
Or States, fill in the blank center or whatever.
Four States, First Union, Wells Fargo, there was whatever other bank. Sure, it was. We take your money and don't give you half of it. All time.
First Union Center was the best one because you could call it for short the FU Center.
The FU Center, absolutely, yeah. But guys, I mean, Eric Lindros, Hall of Famer. In the Flyers Hall of Fame, and also a Toronto Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
One of the all-time greats, and we were looking at some of his video highlights from early 1990s, and the guy was like Connor McDavid 2.0. He was that.
Well, he would have been Connor McDavid 1.0, and Connor McDavid would be Connor McDavid 2.0.
That's true. That's true. Well, I did it.
Connor McDavid would be Eric Lindros 2.0.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
but I don't even think he's that good.
Guys,
I think Lindros was better.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Than even anybody they compare him to. His
Put
game.
it this way: in a clutch and grab era in hockey, he was averaging 1.5 points per game for the Flyers.
He was playing on a level.
Points.
He was playing on a level that you can't play on.
I mean, to put it in perspective, I was watching like 14 minutes of highlights of that yesterday of just him.
Mm-hmm.
And to count the number of goals he scored with one hand on his stick because he was using the other hand to try to get like two dudes off of his back.
Yeah, space. He's trying to get space.
It was impressive.
Yeah, very. 6'4", I think 230. I mean, and what was amazing?
That's what he was billed at coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, and when we were watching him in the pre-production, what really was amazing to me was his skating ability. He just had the ability to be so quick off his skates and be able to turn on a dime and just get up to top speed so quickly.
He was faster than the influx of Russian players that were the fastest thing we've seen in the NHL ever.
Mm-hmm.
He could skate with those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking bigger Olympic rinks. Like the dude was as fast as guys that were playing on a different level than the Canadian and American players at that time.
Yeah.
And he comes out and you can't even check him half the time. I don't know how many times I watched just in highlights, people trying to hand check him, like throwing their arms out just to slow him down.
Yeah. No,
like he's not even up to speed yet.
Yeah.
Once he got through that zone, I mean, he coasted into the zone most of the time because he was already up to speed and it was faster than most of the defenders could. Just ask that piece of shit that played for Jersey that had to sneak him and hit him. He couldn't catch him half the time.
Half the time. Yeah. Yeah. It literally was a cheap shot to end his
And
career.
he was a pretty decent defender and he couldn't.
No, he wasn't. He was a piece of shit.
Couldn't catch it.
He was a piece of shit. You know it, Johnny. Come on.
Oh no, it's a cheap shot hit. I'll call him a piece of shit for that. Dude can play a little bit, but he got around him all the time.
Yeah,
that's what led to that.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about his career. And here's this guy that's coming in, going to be one of the top ranked, if not the number one pick in the draft, right? 1991, I believe, if was his year.
Yeah.
He's flat out refused it. Don't want to play for Quebec. Don't want to go there at all. Don't blame him either.
What's coined the greatest Topps card ever? They had him in his shoulder pads, sitting on the bench, and it's the coolest card ever made.
I have that card.
Really? Oh, wow.
It's the coolest card ever made.
That's awesome. Yeah.
One of them.
I mean, so doesn't want to play. And of course, Quebec's like, okay, well, we got to trade him because we have his rights, essentially.
He didn't want to play. And it's not he didn't want to play. He didn't want to play for a shitty organization.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
We talked about the Coyotes, a couple of weeks ago, being a shitty organization. The Quebec Nordiques were terrible.
They were awful. Yeah.
They were terrible. I think a couple guys, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure when they made that sale, it was because indictments were on a couple of the guys that had something to do with it, and they needed to get away from Quebec because bad shit was happening. Like, it wasn't just a sold franchise or a moved franchise. There was some bad shit going on there.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there was like all kinds of shady stuff. And the fact when this trade happened, it literally came down to them sending I think it was either them sending a fax to the Rangers while calling us, or vice versa, agreeing to the deal. And they couldn't figure out what happened first. And so this
talk about shady.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And of course, we're in the middle of all of this, and we're thinking like, okay, you have to understand, like the Flyers back then, the late 80s and early 90s were shit as well. They were terrible.
They were not news at all.
They were not. They were really struggling. They had not made the playoffs in 4 straight years. In the late 80s, early 90s. This was after the 87 Cup run. So it was like that was pretty much it. And then all of a sudden it was an absolute rebuild. They had to do it because all the players that we had were all gone, or they left town, or whatever the case, or they were traded. We had Russ Farwell as a GM.
Yeah, bad drafts over and over and over.
Mike Ricci.
Love Mike Ricci, but not as the centerpiece.
Not as the centerpiece of your franchise, no.
Not when Jaromir Jagr is still on the board.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we have this whole thing come down, and of course we get the rights awarded to us. So I'm going to go to my main fanboy of Eric Lindros, Steve, who has loved Eric Lindros ever since I've known him.
I don't know. I think we might be 100 on that. I think me and Steve look at him exactly the same way.
Same way. Steve, what was your... If you had to go back in time, what was your original thought when you were first hearing about Lindros coming in, and then we get the trade, and then you see him play for the first couple of games? What was your initial impression of him, really?
Well, I think I've told this story on the podcast before. The first time I've ever heard his name, I saw him playing... I was homesick from school, and I saw him playing in the Olympics.
Yeah.
With Team Canada. I guess so. This must have been '92.
Yeah.
And he was involved in a shootout, and I think probably won the shootout. And then fast forward to the summer, which is when the trade happened, and I was down the shore, and I heard a news broadcast that said Lindros had been awarded to the Flyers. I was like, I know that guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome that we got him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He could play a little bit.
Yeah, the first ever Flyers game I went to was his rookie season. He scored 2 goals in a game we tied Vancouver, and it was awesome watching him play. He was phenomenal.
Yeah,
off and running.
Yeah, at that point, absolutely. I think again for me, probably seeing him and watching him live in the core states. I never saw him in the Spectrum, but seeing him in the core states and seeing his ability. I think what was really impressive to me was his wrist shot was like a slapper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was that lightning fast, and just his power and his speed. I'll throw up a card up there. It's one of my all-time favorites, and I think it's everybody on there too. The shift that he had against Pittsburgh, where the puck is in the corner, he loses his stick, but he's still kicking the puck, and he keeps and maintains possession while fighting off a couple of different Penguins defenders. It's one of the all-time greatest shifts he's ever had. And of course, like he scores the power play goal at the end to, to clinch it at that point. But yeah, it was just his speed, his power. He was also like deft with the puck. Like I don't think I've ever seen a guy with the stick blade. We were talking about this, right, guys, in the pre-production. His stick blade was flat, which I don't know how you do that. How do you do that? Like how he was like airlifting.
Really
the
hard
puck.
to play hockey that way.
I would
That's
think.
that's like expert level on a video game. That's
is.
Eric Lindros' stick to play, like even to shoot a puck with a flat blade. That's expert level. That's really hard. That's really hard. You name a bunch of guys, they didn't do it that way.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Well, it helps with the backhand because you basically have the same, the same lift on both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
His genius of the whole thing is it also makes it really good for one-handed plays.
Yeah.
He might have known.
Yeah, like he knew
might
what
have
was
known
going on there.
what kind of skill he had.
Now, of course, he was paired on a couple of big lines. He had the Crazy Eight line with him, Recchi, and Brent Fedek.
Yep.
And then you also had the Legion of
two Hall of Famers and a guy we only remember from the Ilios Pizza.
Yeah.
Exactly. But then we also had the Legion of Doom, Leclerc, Renberg, Lindros. So, of the two lines, guys, which one was your favorite and why? I'll go with John first on that. The Crazy Eights line.
Yeah, you gotta go with the Legion.
Or the Legion, yeah.
They were taking over. They were taking over sports at one time. They were so good together.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, it's really close because you had the Crazy Eights line was a younger Eric Lindros, and that was a lot of fun playing with him and Recchi. They had really good chemistry together.
A young Mark Recchi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those give and goes, you can never forget those give and goes. They were just smart, heady hockey.
Yeah.
Like just with those two, just bang bang. Like you didn't know where it was coming from.
Yeah.
But it was very opposing to goaltenders.
Yeah. But Legion for me was, him and Leclerc were just ridiculous.
Yeah,
And Renberg with his speed. Steve, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, Legion.
Legion?
We remember Renberg. Nobody really remembers Brent Fedek.
Exactly. And they were.
It's really funny because it's like every time you and I go to a Flyers game, I often look for the off jersey, the ones that aren't popular, in the guys that have worn it over the years, and it's like I don't see many Brent Fedek jerseys. To your point, I don't see many of them.
No, you will see some Renbergs once in a while.
Every once in a while, you will, yeah.
And just think, if Renberg would have wore 18, you would have never remembered the original Crazy Eight. He was one number off of just wiping Brent Fedek off of the history books completely.
Yeah. I mean, him and Leclerc, I think, were probably the two. If you're looking at the NHL back then, I don't think there was a better tag team of players that you could have ever paired against.
And Leclerc will tell you the opposite story.
Maybe Sakic Forsberg.
It wasn't a tag team. He was just winning because he was playing with Eric Lindros.
Yeah.
It's very easy to shoot a puck back in the net after it just hit the goalie about 100 miles an hour and everybody's out of position.
Yeah.
John Leclerc's told that story a million times. It's very easy to pick up a rebound.
Yeah.
From a guy that just balled over three guys, fires a shot on net, hits the goalie directly in the chest. The goalie's over there. The defender is over there. Mm-hmm. The puck squirts to him and he goes in. Like he tells that story all the time.
Yeah. Crazy.
I don't think Sakic Forsberg would be considered a duo because they were both centers.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't typically play on the same line.
They were line together. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. The only other one I could think of probably in that time frame
maybe
of a pair. No, not. I would say Mario and Yager were
together. Yeah.
Only two players who played together on a line that could be comparable.
Yeah.
Kind of center right wing, center
wing.
left wing. It was
That's true.
God. And you could put Lindros kind of in that Lemieux category for the time that he played because he did get injured and his career was cut short.
Absolutely.
Oh, no question.
Put him eye test, not stat test, because you're never going to be able to compare them stat wise, but eye test. He was just as good as Mario. He
John,
really
to your
was.
point, and I completely agree with you. If he's in this NHL,
Oh man.
Oh, game over. Game over.
I mean, come on. Like you're talking about a guy who is scoring 1.5 points per game in a clutch and grab era in the NHL. Now you have the freedom to basically roam around, do whatever the hell you want to do.
It's a simple analysis. Look at Ovechkin's career in this time frame, and put a guy that's taller, smarter, quicker, and plays defense.
Better playmaker too.
And a better playmaker.
And better playmaker.
Way better passer.
Yeah.
Same shot. You're looking taller and stronger.
And imposing 6'4", 230. I mean, you've got a guy who's coming down the get out of here. You don't want that as a defenseman.
Real quick story. He fought Marty McSorley when Marty played for LA. And Marty was asked, this was on an ESPN thing with him. Marty was asked what it was like to fight Eric Lindros. He said, I fought a bear in college. They were kind of similar. That's how strong he was.
Yeah.
When I was watching the video yesterday, at one point they got to a clip of Lindros destroying some defenseman behind the net, and just without thinking, I go, "Oh my god!" And my son was sitting on the couch. He's like, "What?" And I rewound it and I showed him, and he's like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah. We watched the clip the other night in pre-production where like he hits the guy, knocks him down off the puck, and another guy from the other team comes in to try and hit him off the puck. And he just bounces off.
Yeah, he turns his he was great at turning his shoulder to the next guy.
Yeah. Talk about this NHL. You know, people complain. Well, you see all the stuff they do to McDavid, all the hooks, because they can't keep up with him. Watch what they had to do to Lindros.
Oh yeah,
to keep him from breaking free.
Yeah,
and I don't think McDavid would have been as dynamic in the clutch and grab era, just because I don't think he has.
I agree.
The size and strength of some of the players from back then.
And to your point with that, he was doing it. Lindros was doing it against Hall of Famers. He was riding Darian Hatcher and his brother Kevin Hatcher, respectively. Scott Stevens.
Yeah.
A young Chara he would ride.
Oh yeah.
Pretty impressive because not many people can do that.
Absolutely.
He would take those guys to the net on his back.
Yeah.
And still be able to make a play.
How they were able to play in that, I mean, I think back, let's just hypothetical this, guys. Like if Ovechkin's playing in the 97s, 97 to 01, 2000s, NHL, whatever, that time period, does he get close to Gretzky's goals? I don't know.
That's tough. It's tough because he's got Bure, and Bure was in that time frame. He has Bure type talent, but I don't know if I think with the open ice, I think that
with the left wing lock,
that leads to open ice leads to a lot more kitschy goals, as we all know.
Yep.
If you can shoot a slap shot, respectively, you can score 3 or 4 more goals than you normally would because you just pull up.
He would still be effective like he is on the power play. Absolutely. When you're a man down and you leave him standing at the left point like everybody does for some weird reason. I don't even know if I'm defending the Capitals. I have one guy like on him, and then I just play 4-on-3 down low.
Yeah, play 4-on-3 down low and have a guy that can grab him and beat the crap out of him.
Absolutely,
right. That's what you need.
Yeah,
but he has. Yeah, but no, not in the clutch and grab era because you don't get. Steph Curry's the same way. Steph Curry wouldn't have been as effective in the 80s because those pull-up three-pointers that are just left alone someone elbow would be in his face.
Yeah, or you'd be a hand check or whatever the case may be.
It's just a different game. You can't. Is Steph Curry just as talented and could play in that era? Absolutely, but he wouldn't get away with as much.
Yeah, exactly. It was interesting too, guys. With the good comes the bad, and unfortunately, like Lindros never won a Stanley Cup with us, and obviously deserved to, because of his greatness, no question about it. They just never had the goaltender to really complement, and that was back then. There was no salary cap, and it was like they were trying the Flyers were trying every possible goaltender.
Some would say not well.
And not well at all. No.
I don't think it was Lindros' fault that he didn't win a title. I blame it completely on the franchise that they didn't know what to do. And I could
put all of your money. That was the thing, though. You put all of your money on that top line.
That's what I was going to say. I think their problem in '97, the goaltending wasn't great, but I think the bigger problem and what got exposed against Detroit was depth.
Oh yeah,
we were a line and Brindamore.
Yep.
Right?
That's like pretty much it. Yeah.
And Detroit on that team had 2 600 goal scorers.
Yep.
One of them was playing like on the third line.
Yeah. Yep. 3 solid lines that could just rotate, and it was like, oh crap, we're in trouble. We're in serious trouble.
There was partly they were out coached in that series.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Terry Murray against Scotty Bowman. Come on.
I mean, could you imagine Lindros playing for Scotty Bowman?
Oh.
He'd probably have 7 rings, and they might not need 3 lines.
No, I mean,
they might need 4 guys.
Yeah, and you could definitely tell it was like when you have a Lindros that was number 1 for so long. If you trade him to a Bowman, where would Scotty put him? That's the thing. Would you put him at the top line? Would you put him at the second? I don't know.
In '97, he would absolutely go on the top line.
Oh yeah,
go on the top line.
Yeah.
I think Scotty Bowman would put him at the right wing, and almost create that Ovechkin feel, but back then.
Okay.
Where he would pull the puck away from him, so he's wide open. So what's going to happen? The pass is going to come across the one-timer.
The one-timer for the goal.
Because that dude's one-timer was ridiculous.
Yeah.
He could pick it. You could pass it backwards to him. He would have to gather it backwards or forwards. He was able to adjust his body to project the puck. He was just so good at shit.
It wasn't the one-timer, but we were looking at the video, remember, against the Rangers in '97, where he had the one-time, or it was a slap shot from the top of the circle that beat Rick.
It wasn't the top. It was at like the hash mark.
The hash mark of the circle.
Which I don't know if anybody's taken a slap shot from 6.5 feet away.
Yeah.
I don't want that gorilla.
No.
I've blocked it from dudes that are big, not Lindros size.
No.
He would put a hole in it.
You do not step in front of that. No.
No, that's almost like taking a bullet.
And he beat him top corner too on that shot. Mike Richter comes across and it's like, I want no part of that.
If he hit him with it, would he have fell back in the net? That's my question.
I don't know the answer to that.
He hit him in the shoulder. His shoulder might have just went backwards into the net, and it still would have been a goal.
Yeah.
Because that.
There was a game I remember watching in the skyboxes up in the First Union, Core States, Wells Fargo, fill in the blank center, and
whatever other bank.
He was playing against. It was against the Kings, and I forget who it was. It wasn't Kelly Rudy. I think he was long gone by then.
That's a name. That's a
name from the
long time ago.
But he had. I remember he was coming in. They were like trailing the Kings 2-1, and I'm like, skate, damn it! They weren't playing all that well, and then they finally got ahead, and like the game-winning goal was Lindros, and it was a wrist shot from the top of the circle, and I could have sworn it went right through the goalie. I mean, literally, it was like right into the net, and it was like, how'd that happen? Like, he had that kind of an ability with his shot, was so quick and so fast. You didn't want to
get it off quick.
Yeah,
he got it off really quickly.
He did not hit. He didn't need to wind up much.
No.
He had that kind of power.
Yeah.
No, the snap. I always admired his snapshot.
Was amazing.
Snapshot. He would just bring it back like 6 inches and bang. And
Steve, how hard is that to get a snapshot off while someone's on your body?
Yeah.
That's the impressive part. Mm-hmm. The snapshot's fun. Like, we all can make a snapshot, but can you do it with someone draped all over you?
And with the same force as
that's
like
a body movement that doesn't work really. And how I don't understand. I don't understand half the things that he did.
Yeah.
He created an entire generation of people that played hockey a completely different way.
Yeah. That was unbelievable. Guys, to close it out, and I'll go to Steve first. What was probably, if you had to pick one attribute of Lindros that was the most impressive what would you say it is and why? So what would be the most impressive thing you ever saw or ever loved about Eric Lindros the most?
It could be a play also, like the play.
Could be a play too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The play that you were just like, damn.
Yeah.
It's very hard to pick just one.
There's so many.
It's very hard to pick one. I mean, probably the most recent was when he first came back in the alumni game in 2012, and he and Leclerc just picked up where they left off, where he barreled down the wing with the puck, hit Leclerc across goal. Yeah, it was like, and that was after the split, and there had been all the acrimony in the franchise, and this was like his first return kind of to Philadelphia, as like giving him open arms, and to see that was amazing. That's probably one of the best memories.
That's awesome. Yeah,
that's awesome.
John?
He's such a good dude.
What do you think?
I have to honorable mention the goal in the Rangers series to move on.
Which
with
one?
Like 0.1 second, like.
Oh, the last, with the overtime.
The fact that you can make a decision to go the way he shot the puck with that much time makes no sense. Yeah,
backhand from the boards. Yeah,
it makes no sense. It was just, I have to score, and I have to score now.
And Richter was scrambling. It was like, oh crap, I have to get, and it's too late.
That was incredible, but the thing that always sticks in my mind, late game, had to be like 11:30 at night. I used to work, second shift, so I always got to watch the late games more than I did the 7 o'clock games. When he pulls Dougie Waite down, this isn't even a goal. He races Dougie Waite to a puck at literal center ice, pulls him down, because he beats him there, goes one-on-one with the goalie, does not score, goes from right-handed, which he was, switches his stick to left-handed, and hits the post.
And you were probably just going, wow.
If that goal goes in, that might be the greatest goal in the history of hockey.
That reminds me of a play. They were playing against Carolina when Keith Primo was still in Carolina.
Okay.
And Primo knocked Lindros' stick out of his hands. So Lindros just grabs Primo's stick and yanks it out of his hands and starts to play with it.
It's mine.
Yeah.
You're going to knock my stick out? I'll take yours. Thank you.
It's left-handed. I don't care.
Back to wrestling a bear.
Exactly. I think for me, it's really two things. The Pittsburgh shift, which I mentioned before, but we also looked at it in pre-production too. The Haller goal, where Lindros is carrying it up along the far boards, and he spots Haller coming down the wing, and he's like, oh, I can hit him. Aerial pass, and he hits Haller in stride, where he catches the puck onside, drops it down, puts it in the goal. The aerial pass, that's something I've never forgotten. And
by the way, with a flat stick.
With a flat stick.
You can't put any backspin on it if you're not Eric Lindros.
That was in the spectrum.
Pass with backspin on it to hit the tape with a flat.
No, he didn't hit the tape. He caught it. It was like quarterback
and put it down.
Oh, nice.
But he hit him in stride.
How do you put backspin on a puck to get it to do that?
I can't lift it off the ice. There are times where it's like it's a struggle sometimes.
Oh, I can float it all day like he did, but I need a curve.
And he's just got to be. I'll get it. And he just shoveled it up right up and off the ice and just right onto his. Caught it in stride. I've never forgotten it, and it's just one of those plays that you always remember about Lindros the most.
Goes back to the flats. How the fuck do you do that?
If he was healthy in 2000, they win the cup that year.
I think so. Absolutely.
Yeah, and all the drama with his parents, like if he had better representation.
I just think that was Philly era media and Bob Clark not being a professional. That was because I'm sure that shit goes on now. It's just it's not covered the way it was. He was in a bad era for getting over, for lack of a better term.
He was in a bad era for head injuries.
Yeah, no question about it.
Because they didn't know anything. They didn't know anything, and it was still the soft era when we went through it. Steve, me and you went through it with buying different helmets and.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day when we were getting real serious about it, like it was something that you had to think about. But the older crew, wasn't they like, oh, you're soft. You're gonna hit the head.
Yeah, and the
No,
technology.
you're not waking up with a headache, bro. Like,
and the technology back then, guys. I mean, come on. It was just a shell with like foam padding. That's not going to do it in a brain injury. That's just not going to do it.
And I blame the Philly media more than I do Bob Clark, because they didn't understand what they were dealing with, and it made them, hindsight 2020, they looked like a bunch of fools.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was almost like it was a cake that was really kind of, you're putting it together, and it's like you got Clark, who's very old school.
Yeah.
You've got Lindros, who's with his parents who are hyping him up and not really having a really good influence, and then you have the Philly media who's trying to combine all this stuff, the animosity between all the parties. It was not a good combination, and then of course, like, they weren't producing in the playoffs like they should have. I mean, it was a bad time.
It was also because he should have been in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Probably months and months before that. Like, you see, yeah. I'm going to actually say something nice about the NFL. The ripping the equipment off of you, get in concussion protocol, because we can get you back quicker. You can play more. You can play clearer, because we gotta treat everything. Yeah. Not just call you soft because you got a concussion. And that's basically what was happening between the media and Bob Clark. Could you imagine playing at that time? That would suck.
Yeah. No, I can't. And it's just like, that was probably the sad part, but deservedly so. Retire his number in the Hall of Fame. One of the all-time greats, one of the greatest Flyers ever. So, I mean, for us at Too Noobs, I mean, we can't talk enough about this
hindsight, he's the greatest thing that ever put on a Flyers uniform.
No question.
Like, that's kind of the respect that and putting him in the Hall of Fame, him earning in the NHL Hall of Fame is just, he's exactly where he should have been.
Yep.
I would love to see him play more, because we'd probably be goating over numbers that never existed.
Yeah. Steve, I'll give you a final word. What are your final memories of Lindros before we move on?
The Andreas Dackel hit always stands out. I don't want to end on that one. I mean,
I got one fun for you.
Unfortunate. But the 97 playoff run was a good one. And the Rangers, the hat trick and the last second goal, and particularly that in the hat trick game when he hooks Marc Messier from behind to get in front of him. The score in the empty net was something.
I got
beautifully
one.
Poetic. I love it. Yeah.
See if you remember this, Steve. I forget who they were playing, but he tried to do his patented jump move between a defenseman and the boards, and the sign ripped off, and he's skating down the ice with the sign still attached to his skate. Because with his speed, he was like, I can fit. But he did actually fit. Like, he bumped the guy off, but also took the board tape with him.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
He was ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, gents, here we go with topic number 2. And this one is a little bit, I guess you could say, off the wall, but since we love off the wall topics here on Too Noobs, why not? Taco Bell opens first restaurant with high-tech drive-through experience. And it says here in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, Taco Bell opened its first high-tech restaurant.
That's an odd place to pick.
Yeah,
I know, seriously, right? Brooklyn Park, Minnesota.
Maybe they like Taco Bell there.
Who knows? Under its new Defy concept, DEFY concept, which aims to reduce service times to 2 minutes or less, while providing a fun, easy, and seamless drive-through experience. So you have 4 drive-through lanes, guys. Digital check-in screens for mobile order customers.
Just like the McDonald's or the other ones where you go in and Wendy's has them. You select from their menu, and then it sends a ticket to the kitchen. You don't have to talk to anybody.
Yep. Digital check-in screens for mobile order customers, unique QR codes, so you can do that. 2-way audio and video technology for customers to talk to Taco Bell employees. Proprietary vertical lift designed by Minneapolis-based Vertical Works Inc. to transport customers' favorite menu items. So the idea is it basically comes down, picks it up, drops it into your car. 3 of these Defy concept lanes will be dedicated to mobile and third-party delivery orders. Meanwhile, the fast food chain's 4th new lane will be dedicated to customers looking for the traditional drive-through experience.
Old people.
Yeah, old school. Old school. You go in and,
Can I take your order, please?
what?
I need you to put your order in the clown's mouth.
You know, that kind of deal. Exactly. Taco Bell teased that many features of the Defy concept could show up at its restaurants across the U.S. in the future. The company's team is currently working with Border Foods to consider potential retrofits that could be made to several of Taco Bell's Defy's neighboring restaurants. So this kind of got us thinking, right? It's kind of interesting, you know, with a little bit of the fast food concepts and everything, technology in the 21st century. What are your guys' thoughts, John, on really, like, what would you do to enhance the drive-through experience?
I'm all for what they're trying to do. I hope everybody does it. It's way easier to go in and instead of, you know, walking up to a person who doesn't want to be there, and the menu's up there, it's way easier to do this phone stuff, this. I want that.
Touchpad
I want
stuff.
that. I think they'll make more money because people will take more time to think about it. You know, social anxiety is a real thing for a lot of people, and this cuts down on that.
There you go. There you go. I know.
I love anything that becomes automated. Like, it's easier. It's just way easier. I don't want to
I think of Wawa where it's all touchscreen. You're going in, okay, I want this panini, I want this done, this, I want to add this and that. And
you remember how the deli was back in the day, in the early 90s?
where you had to go and you had to
You
talk.
had to order a sandwich, and they only had 4 of them, and they didn't want to make sandwiches because they were a deli in the beginning. Like, that was hard.
Exactly. Now you can do it. Steve, what are your thoughts?
Well, that's where I'm struggling to understand this. Like, first off, the touchscreen ordering is not new.
No.
Maybe in the context of a drive-through it is, but
Yes.
you know,
That's
you've
the
already
only-
pointed out. You've already pointed out Wawa allows you to do it. Panera is a place I go where you can do it.
Yep.
I don't have any of these fancy McDonald's or Wendy's that John has that allow you to do it yet, but
Oh, you will love it.
and I appreciate their goal of trying to reduce the customer experience to 2 minutes, but from my standpoint, that the usual hang-up is not the ordering process, but the fact that it takes some time for the food to be prepared.
Yeah.
So how does this Defy, or whatever they're calling it, how does that take care of the food preparation, which is the typical choke point on your drive-through
Great
timing?
point. Yeah.
I don't think it's not going to get any better. Still, with Wendy's, like the other day, I pulled up, I ordered the simplest meal. They were like, hey, can you pull up over there? 20 minutes later, dude comes out and goes, I'm sorry, this lady just came in and had an order for like 100 cheeseburgers. Like, it just literally rocked their world in there. And he was
you're basically just at the
no touchscreen would have helped that.
No.
Maybe it would have held her off.
Yeah, but I mean, all hands on deck at that point.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Maybe if she had to go to the touchscreen, maybe it would have taken a little longer to put it in the touchscreen. I would have got my order. I would have been out.
And you said they had 4 lanes for this drive-through, right? So now you're going to have
you have Uber Eats and DoorDash.
You have 4 lanes of people ordering simultaneously. So theoretically, the orders are actually going to come in faster.
Yeah.
So the 3 are dedicated for the mobile orders.
Yeah.
So
with
they're
your 4th being.
Yeah.
Well, wait. So it's a mobile order. Is the mobile order ordered ahead?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a little different.
That's gonna they're gonna be speed lanes. Like if you look at like the Easy Pass, right? And you have the coin lane, then you have the Easy Pass, and you have the Express Easy Pass or whatever it is, where you can just keep going 70 miles an hour. I think that's the concept they're trying to use.
I
Mobile
think
orders are gonna get out of the way.
Yeah.
Because they're already pre-made.
Yeah, I think the concept is, from a processing perspective, Steve, thinking about this, you're getting a separate QR code. So the idea is you're giving it's not like you're driving up, you place an order, and 2 minutes it's ready for you to go. The idea is you have your mobile phone, you have a QR code
Order
already
ahead of
listed with
time.
your order ahead of time.
Okay.
You scan it, they bring it to you within 2 minutes, which makes more sense because it's like they get time to prepare that back end, you know, that kind of stuff. It's like they get that information, and while you're driving, they prepare it, they get everything ready to go. You pull in, boop, comes out, and you know, gets to you.
And that's happening in technology all over the place with the Targets and the Walmarts, with the mobile. You order at the supermarkets.
Yeah.
You order your stuff, and then you pick a time to come pick it up.
Yep.
It cuts down. I know they do it a lot here for some reason in the supermarket. It cuts down on the traffic in the supermarket.
Yeah.
You go in at like 8 in the morning on a Sunday, it's a ghost town in there.
Yeah. It just
It's normally not that way because everybody, you know, everybody's got to go in. Now you've got 100 lanes where you can pull up and someone will bring it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
it's
it's interesting because you also have, like I was mentioning with Wawa before, you're there pressing the buttons and you get the receipt, but you still have to wait.
You have to wait because I got to make it.
5 to 8 minutes, exactly.
But
And
what
it's
I
like-
always do is if I'm going, if it's early or late, it doesn't matter. Like food first, and then go around the store and get your drinks and you get your stuff.
Yep.
By the time you get to the register and pay at every Wawa I've been to, my order's ready. Unless
There have been times I've had to wait.
unless
There've been a
it's
couple
super
times.
busy.
Yeah, unless they're super busy. You're
If
right.
it's super busy, yeah, you're gonna wait anywhere if it's super busy.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm old school. I like the Chick-fil-A's. So I go in and I will, I mean, it's a long, long wait. It's literally 20
Oh yeah,
minutes.
Chick-fil-A. You could wait for, but their food's that good. That's why.
Yeah.
They
The
could make
service
me,
is that good.
yeah,
And
they
the
could
service is
make
that
me
good.
wait 24 hours, and I don't think. But
They could kill the bird and then, you know,
that
defeather it
food
and the whole
is
bit.
that
And I'm still going to get that quality customer service.
I
It's
play
like-
hockey with a guy who owns a Chick-fil-A in
Oh,
Northeast
wow.
Philly. He actually just opened the second one in like
Nice.
Somerton.
No kidding.
The drive-through is always like a
Jam-packed.
long line, and not because they're slow, but just because that many people
Yes.
are trying to get through. I've been in not that one, but other Chick-fil-A drive-through lanes, and you move. I mean, they do a good job of getting you moving through there, but it's the volume
The
of
volume.
people that
It's-
slows you down.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Whataburger in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They're so busy all the time, but their
Mm.
food's so good, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So you just get in line, and the customer service is good. And
Mm-hmm.
I think if Five Guys, Chick-fil-A, Whataburger, like the real good ones,
Mm-hmm.
went to this system, it would probably, and I think that's what Taco Bell's the first one to try it. I think if they created that system with the higher volume,
Mm-hmm.
they would even more business, because if you don't have to wait, you're gonna wait. Driving home, you're not gonna be like, well, I got a burrito in the freezer. I don't want to wait in that line because it's been a long day. You
Yeah.
roll up to a Chick-fil-A and there's no line. You're probably gonna spend your $8 to get your chicken sandwich, and that's what you're gonna eat for the day.
Yeah. It's something where you could just do a mobile order pickup and it's right there for you, and you just pick it up and off you go. I mean, it's going to be interesting too, because it's like, speaking of Chick-fil-A, most of their drive-thrus have 2 lanes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you got
That
2
funnel to a single.
that funnel to a single. So it's like,
That's
yeah,
every.
yeah.
They did
They
that.
manage it well.
But they do. Yeah, they really do. You're right.
I've never been to a Chick-fil-A where I was displeased.
I can't.
Literally, I can't think of a time.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it. It's like, because you always are greeted very well, and it's like you place the order, and you know it's going to be a long wait. You know it. So as long as you're patient, you know that.
They've conditioned us to it.
And exactly,
Because
and
they
that's
put
the
crap
thing.
in their chicken sandwiches. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, who knew a chicken with a pickle and on a Kaiser roll?
It is so good.
I mean, it's serious, but I mean, it's interesting to see like what the
branded it.
future of drive-through fast food is going to do. Because I do think the idea of you going in and speaking into a clown's mouth for your food, and then you have to pull right around, and it's not going to be, I mean, it's just not going to be good. It's just going to be nuked in the microwave for about 5 minutes. That's all they're doing.
Welcome to McDonald's.
Yeah, and I can't even remember. We were talking about it in pre-break. I can't even remember the last time I went to a McDonald's. I can't even remember.
I go if I want to eat cheap and we need to do it quick. The only time.
And that's literally what it's designed for.
Like an emergency.
An emergency.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we got to get this done
we
really
need
quick.
burgers.
Yeah.
we need burgers and fries right now.
We're on our way. We're on our way to a hockey game. We got to eat before we play. There's a McDonald's right there. Let's go through.
Let's pull right in and get a quarter pounder and done. Yeah,
Thank
exactly.
God the chemical process of McDonald's lets you digest it in less than 32 seconds, so you don't even have to worry about getting cramps when you play.
Well, and you don't have to sit there and savor it like you know.
Yes, exactly. There's no reason to. It's just
That's true. Well, if you go to a Chick-fil-A, you go to savor that chicken sandwich,
Yeah.
even though you're going to be late for the game. That's the problem.
yeah,
It's a
you
trade-off.
don't want to eat that chicken sandwich.
You
McDonald's.
don't want to eat that while you're driving, you know?
Oh, of course not. No. And especially when you have the waffle fries with the Chick-fil-A sauce. And by the way, guys, pour the Chick-fil-A sauce into the chicken, on the chicken on the chicken sandwich. I'm guaranteeing.
Yeah, I'm
My
not
dad
even-
did that in front of me. I was like, what are you doing?
I'm not even a Chick-fil-A sauce guy. I like the Polynesian sauce.
See, I'm a
spicy
big
chicken
Chick-fil-A
with
guy.
Polynesian sauce.
I'm
love-
old school. I'm old school ketchup.
Ketchup on the meat, baby.
Oh, I
That's what it's all about.
got a gripe, by the way. I got Wendy's yesterday driving home from Houston, and I was driving and I wanted to eat my spicy chicken nuggets. You made them too damn spicy. I couldn't drive and eat spicy chicken. So I'm mad at Wendy's. I'm mad.
Too much Old Bay.
Just for now. Later on, we'll get back together. But yeah,
they
Too
do
much
good-
Old Bay.
They
Yeah.
do good spicy nuggets.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Today's episode is brought to you by Fleebleworks. Fleebleworks empowers core competency with scalable solutions by leveraging robust, qualified synergies that put organic growth in the pipeline. Fleebleworks has results-driven action items to circle back on pain points. Fleebleworks unpacks low-hanging fruit to get buy-in on the close-the-loop optics. If you want to disrupt value propositions on the lean-in for TBD ASAP, contact Fleebleworks for proactive ideating to table huddle holistic approaches B2C through debriefing on ROI and touching base. Take it offline to flesh out growth opportunities with Fleebleworks.
All right, guys, here we go. Topic 3. And since we started with Eric Lindros in topic 1, well, we'll make a Flyers episode. Why not? Going with the Flyers head coaching search. Flyers have been without a head coach since Mike Yeo was canned. Kind of dealt a bad hand because obviously it was a lost season. But this is a pretty important hire by Chuck Fletcher if he wants to keep his job. So it's a very interesting tweet that Sam Carchidi had sent out back on June 8th. Thank you. Appreciate that. Always love the pre-production during the meeting. Anyway, odds on the next Flyers head coach. John, so going to get your thoughts here. John Tortorella is slated at 3-1 per Bet Online. So you have Torts at 3-1.
Yeah.
Rick Tocchet at 4-1. Barry Trotz and Jim Montgomery each at 11-2 odds. Ricard Gronborg, who I have no idea who he is, he's 6-1. Paul Maurice, who was the former Carolina Hurricanes coach, he's 8-1.
Most recently of the Winnipeg Jets.
Most recently the Winnipeg Jets, thank you. And then Mike Yeo was also listed, but at 100-1 odds per Sam. So obviously he was originally listed at 7-2, which is a little ridiculous since he was just fired. So, what are your initial?
Bruce Cassidy is not on that list.
Bruce Cassidy is not on this list, although that tweet was sent out on June 8th, and I believe Cassidy was fired. I believe it was either the next day.
No, it was the 6th actually.
It was on the 6th.
It was because it was Monday.
Okay.
Monday night.
Yeah, so I guess they just didn't have him listed, but yeah, I mean, threw Cassidy in there. So there are, I would say, a good handful of coaches here, for sure. If you had to pick one, if you're the GM of the Flyers, and your job's on the line,
my job wouldn't be on one. I'd do a better job. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I probably would draft better, for one thing.
In fairness to Chuck Fletcher, I don't think his drafts are the problem.
No, I don't. I
think
think
the
it was,
drafts of his predecessor have come back to bite us at this
Yes,
point.
you were exactly right. I wouldn't blame
Yeah.
Chuck Fletcher at all for drafts.
But this is Philadelphia, and Philadelphia says if you don't win, if you're the GM and you're not winning,
Yeah.
Short-sighted,
but yes.
Short-sighted, I get that. But yeah, it's interesting. But let's talk about the head coaches, guys. I mean, it's a pretty important hire, obviously. You want somebody here probably for at least 4 years. They've had a lot of turnover in the head coaching ranks for a long, long time. Alain Vigneault, what I thought was a decent hire, and then the pandemic came along and he never really recovered. I mean, honestly, it just never did. And it didn't work out. He had, a system where basically if you get the puck in the defensive zone, look for the breakout pass. Well, that doesn't really work all that much. It really just doesn't work.
My observation of the Flyers breakout the last couple of years was like the defenseman gets the puck and throws it somewhere and hopes to God there's a forward there to pick it up, because that's what it looked like to me.
That was Alain Vigneault's system. Yeah, that was Alain Vigneault's system to an absolute T. Thank you for.
It was a very bar league thought process of how to beat defensemen.
I think that was my stretch play whenever I saw John break.
Passes get you in the zone.
I was just going to say that was probably my Hail Mary play. Whenever I always look for John Tracy sprinting down the right hand.
But what John Tracy always helped with is he found Steve Murray, who was moving forward like he's.
Exactly.
Then a shot opportunity would happen. Passes get you a shot opportunity.
Who knew, right? Who knew?
I want a full investigation into John's Corsi statistics.
There you go. Exactly. So what are our thoughts here, guys, on the head coaching hire? Who would you pick? That kind of thing. John, do you have any thoughts? Any preferences?
Hearing just Cassidy right now, I'd much rather him over everybody else. I was
shocking.
I didn't even know he
got
got fired.
Yeah.
I like him. I like Trotz. Absolutely. Yeah. He's a coach.
Yeah.
Like Barry Trotz is like the best coach I've seen do what he's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like very Hitchcock-ish. He grinds on his players. He works on his players.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't last very long places because he does these things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he did last 14 years in Nashville.
Yeah, well, that's also Nashville.
Oh, well.
I mean,
fair enough. Yeah, I think Cassidy to me is the most intriguing because what was the reasoning behind Boston firing him? That's my question. I mean,
time is also a thing though with someone who's frank. The voice is unheard after a while.
I guess so. Yeah.
You can't listen to the same thing every day.
Every day, yeah.
Especially in hockey. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. That's what I said. Like 4 years, it's like okay, you've outlived your shelf life at that point.
If you're not winning, your shelf life's over.
Yeah.
I don't know how sold I am on Cassidy yet.
Okay.
I know they had really good goals against while he was the coach, but
they were in Game 7 in the Cup final. But you also have one of the greatest defensive forwards of all time, Patrice Bergeron, playing there. Mm-hmm. You had a pretty decent goalie in Tuukka Rask most of that time.
Yeah.
And Zdeno Chara as your
Zdeno Chara for part of that. You have David Pastrnak as a legit elite goal scorer.
Yep.
I don't know. Of the list, I would prefer probably Trotz, and the reason why is sort of the opposite of Cassidy in that, yeah, he won a Stanley Cup with Ovechkin and those guys in Washington.
Yep.
But then he went to the Islanders, who have nobody on that roster.
Yeah.
And he took them to 2 conference finals in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Barzal's a good player, but he's not like elite.
Yeah.
And he's the only real guy on the roster with a name. I mean,
I can't.
The guys on the Islander team. Yeah. They don't have a big name goalie. Mm-hmm. They don't have big name defensemen outside of Barzal. They don't really have big name forwards. How did he do it?
Yeah.
He did
Cal Clutterbuck. I remember him, fourth line winger, but that was pretty much it. You're right. There's hardly anybody there. And yeah, it's interesting to see. Like, I think that's my number one pick. I thought that immediately when he was let go, it was like,
Oh yeah.
Flyers have to hire him immediately. There's like no, but they're taking their time. Like, this is over a month, guys.
The rumor on Trotz is that he wants his next job to allow for transition into the front office.
Oh,
That's a tough one. But that's also he's earned it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
I think they need to get someone of that ilk. And Cassidy being the reason I want to say him is he handles the media well, and that's something I think the Flyers need.
kind of used to it with the Northeast. I get it.
Yeah, they need a coach that handles the media well, because Philadelphia does not cover the Flyers well.
No.
So if you gotta like, that's why Tortorella is not a guy you want here.
No.
Because
absolutely.
that would just implode. He loves his greatest Tampa years is when he would bully the media. You don't bully, like, you need a guy.
Yeah.
You need a guy that knows good media, which Cassidy brings, because he was in Boston, and Boston's media is exactly the same as Philadelphia media.
Mm-hmm.
You just get racked all day long. Like, they need something like that to keep the focus on the game.
Mm-hmm.
See, I disagree.
Okay.
After Trotz, Tortorella would probably be my next
Really?
candidate.
I think it would be.
I can't. I don't think you can put the handling of the media at the top of your coaching responsibilities.
No, I don't think it's the top. But it's something that I want.
But I understand that, but if you can get, and the rumors had been all along that Tortorella is a guy that the players don't like to play for. Well, it turns out
No, that's
people have
bullshit.
spoken out.
No,
That's actually not true.
Yeah, players love to play for him.
They love him,
Okay.
and part of the reason may be that he puts himself out in the media's crosshairs to take the attention away from the players.
Mm-hmm.
That might be part of the reason he does it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't really care. He's been fairly successful everywhere he's gone.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm willing to do it. I mean,
You're willing
Cam
to do that.
Atkinson seemed to have learned under him. Why not?
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it might be part of it for me with Tortorella could be driven by the media and his antagonism towards them. But I think, to your point, Steve, if you're able to deflect that as a coach onto you and not to your players, that's a good positive thing if you're a player. Hell yeah. Makes you want to just play for him a little bit that much more, I would think. Like, if he's got your back and you're putting in a good effort, okay.
Yeah.
Even if you have off nights, he's still going to go to bat for you.
It's very Andy Reid-esque, because Andy would do that. He would piss the media off.
Yeah. Well, he pissed the fans off too. Well, honestly.
Yeah, but he would piss up because you knew that player wasn't playing well, and he knew that player wasn't playing well, but he would give you a nonchalant answer that would make everybody angry. But you know what? They weren't running to the locker of that player trying to. They gave him a break. They were more taking shots at Andy. Which,
And look, it'd be entertaining to hear him go back and forth with the Philly media.
definitely be
We
entertaining.
need something. Give me something.
Yeah.
Tortorella's not off my list.
Tortorella's on or
He's
off your
not
list?
off my list.
He's
at
not off
all.
your list.
I didn't think he was coming here.
Yeah. I mean, and he is a rumored favorite, according to that, to Sam's
Well,
tweet there.
John Butchergross had a tweet earlier this week that was rather cryptic, in which he had a picture of Tortorella side by side with Gritty. And people were like, "Does that mean the Flyers are hiring Tortorella?" What And I never really got a full explanation on that tweet.
But that's also John Butchergrass is a hack. He should probably.
He's an entertaining hack, John. That's the thing. Be interesting to see what they do, because it's like, it is a very, very important hire for the Flyers. No question about it.
Yeah.
They need stability in that position. They desperately need it. And you know, with a young core, with a very young core, post Giroux, because I don't think Giroux's coming back, guys. I don't think he's, as much as I would love to see him back here.
Why would you? He could
He's
re-sign
not.
in Florida and hang out on the beach.
Yeah.
Playing
Play in
hockey.
Tampa, okay, you could play in Tampa, play anywhere else, but yeah, just don't see it.
He can go home at this point. Like, he can do whatever he wants. He's had
Yeah.
a great career. He deserves it.
Absolutely. He could play in Toronto.
I like the one thing.
No, he would. No, he's
he would hate
Ottawa,
Toronto.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He would play for Ottawa.
Yeah.
he'd play for Ottawa. That's right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's
The
what-
one thing I like what they're doing is Fletch is looking at exactly what we think they need. They need a coach that will help the players grow.
Yeah.
Very Hitchcock-esque. He's gonna get on them. He might not be the coach that wins the cup for the Flyers, but this coach is definitely going to be the one that develops the team that could. And I think that's what they're looking at, because every one of those guys, even Tocchet, down the list, they're grinders on players. They grind the players constantly.
That's huge.
That's their MO. So I like the card that they put out.
Yeah.
They made some good choices. It just depends on which one they're going to pick.
Rick Tocchet, yay or nay, guys?
I like Rick Tocchet. He had a terrible, terrible career, but also, I mean, look
Coaching
at the
wise, you
controversy.
mean?
Yeah, look at the controversy around that Phoenix team with Gretzky and his wife and the betting and the
that was a
all
disaster.
All that ridiculousness. I don't think that is what he is as a coach. I think he was surrounded by a lot of ridiculousness with that ownership.
Yeah, Tocchet I think would be a fan favorite to land as a coach, but it's as John said, it's hard to gauge his coaching career because he had 1 year in Tampa where I don't think he had like Stamkos or any of those guys who are winning now.
No.
And then his
Phoenix
stop in Phoenix, but that hasn't been a great team. And he had to deal with all the sideshow. So it's hard to gauge where he is at as a coach. I mean, I know he was an assistant for Pittsburgh for a couple years, but it's hard for me to say with him.
He's known similar of the same ilk though, of that he grinds on players.
Yep.
He develops guys.
I almost want to think like he was out of place as a head coach, but he would be a terrific assistant. Like if you have him running the lines, the forwards, or a defense, probably more on the forward side because he was a forward in his career. But if you have him as like an offensive assistant or something like that, he would be a terrific hire. But as a head coach, how many Flyers fans now know who Rick Tocchet is? That's my question.
Oh, I think a lot of them do.
Okay.
I think
The
they
hardcore
do.
ones do for sure. Yeah.
But there's no way to quantify his coaching experience.
Yeah.
Most Flyers fans are hardcore. I think that's also a truth.
You don't really see many fair weather Flyer fans.
That's true.
The real problem with hiring Tocchet as a coach would be that we would then lose the benefit of him being able to banter with Paul Bissonnette on the TNT show.
Yeah.
That would be a loss
That would be a total loss. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it will be interesting to see what the Flyers do. I guess my question then, because like I would imagine they're probably, when do they make the hire? Because you're getting close to, you probably got Tampa and Colorado in the final, more likely. And assuming that probably ends at the end of the month, do they make the hire, in July?
Is there a rule that they can't interview any of the assistant coaches from the team that is playing?
That's a good question.
I think that is the case.
Because if that's the case, then you gotta do diligently. You have to wait until the finals are over so you can get every candidate.
Yeah, but I haven't heard names from either Tampa
neither have I,
and neither from Colorado either.
But obviously, two teams are in a cup. You might want to look. You might want to, and maybe Fletch is just taking his time, which I have no issue with.
He said he would.
If you're going to make the right choice, please, by all means, don't be rushed.
Please do.
I'd rather you take your time.
Yeah.
He said he would. He even said, they asked him, like, do you need the coach in place by the draft? He said that would be ideal, but we're not going to set that as some arbitrary deadline.
There's no reason. Yeah, you could still draft without a head coach.
Yeah.
Especially if all the coaches are very similar. You kind of already know where he's going.
Yeah.
He's going to player development and hardcore rules.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're buttoning the ship up is what they're doing. So do you really need a coach to draft? You're going to look for players in the draft that do the intangibles. They show up on time. They play hard every ship. They're in such a rebuild now. You gotta take your concept and mash it together at this point. Yeah. And hopefully something good comes out of it.
Are they? It's an interesting question or statement you just made, Johnny. With they're in a rebuild. How far away do you think they are from being a contender? Are they a couple seasons away?
I think it's a 4-year span in hockey.
Okay.
When you build again, I'm not saying cup contender in 4 years, but if Trotz works out the way with this team, the picks come as they come because Fletch has pretty decent picks. I'm kind of okay with what he's done. Moving forward, grabbing a couple pieces, maybe a free agent signing, you can meld it. 4 years, you probably should be rolling at this point. Maybe you have a flash. Like look at the 07 Phillies. Like 5 they sucked. 6
you saw them coming.
7, 8. Like that's what I'm looking with the right coach and the right. It seems like he's going with the right concept.
Yeah, you're able to piece it together.
That Hitch-esque.
Yeah.
Like that Dallas Stars team. Like that's what it kind of reminds me of. Like that like punch that guy behind the bench that doesn't fucking stop talking.
Yeah.
To keep them energized.
And keep them motivated, yeah.
Yeah. I like the way they're going.
Steve, same question.
I think the speed is going to hinge largely on whether you get a healthy Couturier and Ryan Ellis next year.
Couturier is your captain next year.
Probably him.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Him or Lawton.
Yeah.
One of those two. But if you have a healthy Couturier and a healthy Ryan Ellis, that goes a long way because now you've got a legit number 1 center and you've got a legit number 1 defenseman.
And it speeds your process up, and you don't have to wait.
Exactly.
For your draft.
Yeah.
What I really don't want to see is I know there's a lot of people out there who want to tank for this kid next year, Connor Bedard. But I think we've seen the lottery tends to screw us over. So even if we do suck next year and are the worst team, we're going to end up with the number 2 pick again like we did in 07.
No guarantee.
So I would rather do our best to try and win as many games as we can.
Yeah.
I think I've said before, it's not about where you pick, it's who you pick with those picks.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because, teams like Tampa haven't had to pick down low in a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, 4th topic, episode 88. And, well, here we go. It is the 3rd region of the huge Too Noobs tournament, Best Philadelphia Athlete Tournament. And, again, just to kind of flash up on screen, we've already nominated, I guess, or won 2 guys. Brian Dawkins and Mike Schmidt are in the Elite 8. 2 great tournaments, by the way, that we went through. I love looking back on the picks we've made. By the way, we have a playlist out there on YouTube for the Too Noobs tournament. So if you ever get a chance to check that out, this will be on it as well.
Clearwater's got more views than most of our episodes.
It's crazy. It's unbelievable. But here, we are now heading into the Flyers. This has been a Flyers dominated episode. I wonder why.
Can we skip it and just advance Gritty right to the final?
Gritty
he might as well be an Elite 8. He might as well be an Elite 8 or a Final Four member. Heck, he might even be the greatest mascot ever in the history of the city.
Big fan of Gritty.
There you go.
Way more than the Fanatic. That's going to get me heat.
I want to give a special thank you to John, who sent me a Funko Pop Gritty.
Look at that.
For my birthday, but I have to admit it is very creepy that his pupils are completely filled in black and there's no whites of his eyes whatsoever.
We got to pay. You got to do.
When you sent me the picture of it, I was thankful that it wasn't as creepy as what it looked like on Amazon when I ordered it. Because it was way creepier. When you sent me that picture, I was like, oh, that's less creepier. Okay, cool.
Okay, good.
I didn't mean to creep you out. I just thought it would be funny to send you something on your birthday that was Flyer-esque, and the Gritty Funko Pop popped up, and I was like, that's obnoxious. Let's go.
Let's do it. Oh my gosh, it's funny.
Order
All right,
this.
guys. So, yeah, just to kind of recap, of course, we did a whole ranking of every team in the city, 1 to 16 of the top players for each team. Minimum 3 years played
Of the
in
four
the city.
major sports, we did
Four
four major sports. We did not
So we
do the
didn't
union.
throw in the Philadelphia Stars from 1983 to 5, all that kind of stuff. We didn't throw. We put that out.
Soul.
No wings.
The Souls, no wings, no kicks, none of that stuff. Minimum 3 years played in the city from 1983 onward, so it's 40 years of seasons.
People who we actually watched.
We actually watched.
Because we're old, but we're not that old.
There, exactly. Yeah, popularity, of course, in the city, and of course with us as well. So, guys, we're going to hit the top bracket of the best flyer. So this is the Spectrum region. And why don't we go ahead and get started with this thing? So I'm going to go with Steve first. Steve, you have the 13 seed Kimmo Timonen. And he's going up against the number 4 seed John Leclerc.
Oh. Oh.
Quick shout out to Kimmo Timonen because he could play.
Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. Kimmo or John Leclerc? Steve, what do you got?
Kimmo Timonen is one of my favorite Flyer defensemen of all time.
Oh, there you go. Love it.
He was a small guy, but he played the position very well.
Really
time-
structurally sound. Just perfect defender. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Should've been the damn
He
captain.
was very yeah, he should have been captain. He had a tough break in the 08 playoffs when he had that blood clot when we got to the conference finals against Pittsburgh.
Yep.
I don't know that he would have made,
Would've made a
much of a
difference.
difference.
Yeah. Mhm.
But you lose your number one defenseman. It's tough.
Mhm.
He had a great Flyer career. Very cool guy. I understand he still does some good charity work in the area. Love Kimmo Timonen, but it's John frickin' Leclerc.
Yeah.
Let's not
Yeah.
beat around this bush
Kimmo
any longer.
Timonen-
3-time
Great.
50 goal scorer. I mean, come on,
Great player, but the number 2 to our number 1 of the episode. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think he might be
Yeah,
up.
3-time 50 goal scorer?
3-time.
He scored 40 goals 4 or 5 times.
5 times. Yeah.
He,
Crazy.
he made us forget, in a good way, Tim Kerr,
Yeah.
which was the player before him. That was that guy. He was our generation's version of the people in the 70s, into the 80s had Tim Kerr. We had John Leclerc. So it's just generational talents are very easy to pick.
Oh yeah.
He had a hell of a slap shot. He
Scored one of the best goals ever against Buffalo, where it went through the net.
Through the net, yeah.
On the other side
I
of
was
the
gonna
post.
say he factored into that 5 overtime game in Pittsburgh.
He did.
Because he scored the game tying goal in the third period off of his head. And into the net.
That's right.
Didn't he also fight in that Ottawa game?
Indeed, he did fight in that game. It
He
all
has
comes full
everything
circle.
going for him.
He had one of the weirdest curved sticks of all time.
Mhm.
It looked like I can't even like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Probably like a C, maybe. I don't know. It was
No,
definitely not
it was
illegal,
like
but- yeah.
it was not illegal, but the heel was flat, but the toe was like like severely. It was like a
Open.
sand wedge. Was basically like
gosh.
what it was,
Oh, wow.
yeah, pretty
Oh, yeah.
much. Yeah.
Wow. Wild.
which explained a lot about why he could roof the puck from like a foot out in the crease.
And put it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And he also had one of the greatest quotes after a game-winning goal I've ever read. It was against Carolina. This was like 0-1 or 0-2, and he scored a goal. And they asked him, yeah, so what happened on the goal? He's like, well, the shot came in and I just started pushing people and the puck went in the net.
That's awesome. Love it.
John LeClaire is one of my all-time favorites. He is advancing.
He is advancing, no question.
As well
All right, John. So we're going to you, and we got the middle seed here. So you got the 8th seed, Rod Brindamore.
One of my favorites of all time.
Against my boy, the number 9 seed, Eric Desjardins. Now, there is one right answer on this, so I'm not putting any pressure on you.
Do not let the man influence you, Mr. Trent.
Exactly.
Okay. So the answer is Rod Brindamore because he was better backtracker.
Wow. Okay.
I'll throw homes through Eric Desjardins all day, but he was great. He was a great defenseman. He was Lindros' number 1.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I thought captain at one time. Probably should have been captain for longer. Even though he didn't want to be captain, he was the right choice to be captain.
Yeah.
In that time frame.
In that time frame.
Taking the pressure off of those guys.
Yep.
Consummate pro.
Yep. Just one of the
I remember. It's almost like a weird Bryce Harper moment with me with Brindamore because I remember Brindamore when he was with St. Louis, and I always loved Rod Brindamore on the Carolina. Like I followed his career the whole. I love him as a player.
Yeah.
First career, you go Desjardins because it was a better time.
Okay.
He had a better time as you could, looking at when he played with Montreal, he was the same player. We got that with LeClaire. We got that number 1 defenseman that we needed, and he played the number 1 role. Brindamore was a second line player, so he's not the same. If that makes any sense.
Okay, so you're advancing Desjardins. Okay, cool.
Man. He was the number 1 defenseman of that time. So I gotta go with him.
There you go. All right.
Well, he did have in Rod's defense, he did have the best chiseled physique.
I love Rod Brindamore as a hockey player and as a person. I love Rod Brindamore.
Yeah.
He's done good everywhere he's gone.
Yeah, he's been a hell of a player. I mean, one of the all-time greatest flyers, I would say. Ranks right up there for sure.
Would love to have him as the coach, but he's currently employed or otherwise engaged at the moment.
Yeah, and he's one hell of a great coach right now in Carolina.
I think he's good at everything he does, and I think that's why we liked him so much.
No doubt.
His talent might have not been top level, but he had a very Rocky mentality when he was here.
No question.
And but that doesn't take away from Desjardins, who was a pure number 1 defenseman at the time.
Yeah, but could Desjardins bench press 12,000?
Probably not.
I think so.
Probably not. No.
He probably couldn't even stay bench press in England. He struggled with the language.
But you need a guy like a Desjardins. To your point, John, you need a guy like Desjardins in your
back
pocket. Yeah, exactly.
If he doesn't break his arm playing catch with his son in 2004, I think we win the 2004 Cup.
Hey, look at that. There's like cups galore winning with these guys.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, except for these freak injuries.
I know. It's crazy. So here we go. John, staying with you. This is probably going to be the easiest softball for you to ever hit out of the ballpark.
After that, I love Rod Brindamore.
The number 16 seed, Jeremy Roenick, against the number 1 seed, the guy we highlighted in topic 1, Eric Lindros. There's no comparison, right?
Let me just real quick. Jeremy Roenick was fun to watch when he was here. Very short time, but man, did he invigorate the fan base.
Oh yeah.
My love for hockey when he got here. Great with the media, great on the ice.
And you hugged the owner at the
if Jeremy Roenick was a flyer his entire career, he'd be the greatest flyer that ever lived.
With the fans.
Like he was that magnetic and just you couldn't. He's the hockey version of Chase Utley.
Yeah.
You can sit there and argue all the time. Jeremy Roenick's this, but then there's better players over and over again. You do they do it with Chase all the time. Worth was a better player. No, it's Chase Howard's a better player. No, it's Chase Utley. He has that kind of coolness with the town, but he doesn't go over at all.
With this guy, with Lindros.
I don't think he's got the same personality as Utley.
completely two
personality.
different- Yeah, they're two different.
Yeah.
If you're going to compare him to a Philly, I would compare him more to Rollins.
Yeah, but Rollins was a better player.
Interesting.
Than who?
I'm talking like they're good players. They're not superstars because Rollins is a superstar. At least not the superstar. He's not the best player on the team, but he was such a good player that it could commence arguments of he's better than he really is. You know what I mean? Because he's such a good player, and that's what Roenick was.
Yeah.
Roenick wasn't the best player ever.
Yeah.
But God, you remember him his 3 years probably more than you do a guy that played here for 12 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's fair.
He did
fair.
great Coates' corners.
He was so fun. He changed the way I watch hockey.
Yeah.
He was
to your point, John, he revitalized the franchise back
Come
then.
on, when he scored the goal against the Rangers and he jumped on the net after he scored.
Yeah. That was a great highlight.
He jumped on the net
to avoid.
Yeah.
He jumped on the net to stop himself.
But that was his fun. Like he was having more fun than everybody else.
No doubt. Yeah, exactly. That's a great
Agreed.
point. All right, Steve. So closing out the first round, we've got the 5 seed Mark Recchi, and he's got the 12 seed Rick Tocchet. So Recchi or Tocchet for you? What are you thinking there?
Two completely different players.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Completely different players.
Yeah.
Mark Recchi holds still the single season scoring mark for the team. Came back in the second go round in the I think 98 through 04 and was still a terrific player.
Yeah.
May have even led the team in scoring once or twice in that span too.
Probably.
I don't know.
Solid, yeah.
He played a solid point on the power play.
He did.
Yeah, I like Mark Recchi, and it pained me to see him go on to win cups elsewhere in Carolina and Boston.
Yeah, Boston.
But
the Boston one really hurt.
Yeah, Mark Recchi was. I loved Mark Recchi.
So
Tocchet, late '80s, came back second go round. Wasn't quite the same player anymore. At that point, he was long in the tooth. But he fought Scott Stevens in his return here, which was awesome.
More of a bruiser when he came back.
Love it.
Goal scorer.
Yeah.
Goal scorer the first time, bruiser the second time. But he did score some big goals in that 2000.
He did.
The 2000 run, he did have some big goals.
And didn't he wear 92 for a minute when he was here?
Yeah, he did.
So at least
his second stint.
Yeah,
second
so at
stint
least we get to have him as an episode number. So that wait, right?
That's right. Yeah.
There we go.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Mark Recchi though.
You're gonna go with Recchi.
Go with
Okay, cool. All right. So we've hit now the second round of the Spectrum region of the Flyers bracket, and we're going to stay with Steve. And again, Steve, there's no wrong answer here, but you have the 9 seed Eric Desjardins against the number 1 seed Eric Lindros. And again, there's no wrong answer here, but who do you think between the two?
I'm going to pile on with John. Eric Desjardins was a hell of a defenseman for a long time.
Yeah.
Pure number 1.
He was good, and he was a good player to model defensive play after.
Yeah.
And his offensive abilities were good. But
and real talk made Therrien a better player.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Therrien is not.
They were a
as
terrific
good of a
pairing.
player.
Absolutely.
He's not as good as a player if he's not playing with Eric Desjardins.
I would agree with that.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
And I heard Therrien tell a story where after they lost the game or something, and Bob Clark, as the GM, came down to the locker room and was, laying into guys. And his remark to Therrien was, "Ugh, poor Desjardins. He's got to play with you."
True.
Makes sense. Yeah, exactly. But
Eric Lindros.
Eric Lindros, yeah. I mean, come on. At this point, it's ridiculous. So, Johnny, for you, to close out the second round, you got between John Leclerc, the 4 seed, the 5 seed Mark Recchi.
Ooh.
Leclerc or Recchi?
Literally, that's preference of how you like to watch hockey. Two completely different players.
Yeah. The sniper. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, this is my childhood all over.
Mm-hmm.
I go John Leclerc for one reason.
Okay.
One reason. When Recchi got traded from the Penguins, they played a clip on Channel 6 News. He was pissed when he got traded. I still hold that against him.
Okay. That's an interesting...
Wait, you hold it against him?
Interesting.
You're upset that he was pissed off he was leaving Philadelphia?
No, he was leaving Pittsburgh to come to Philly.
Oh,
when he got traded originally. I still hold that against him.
You still, yeah. Okay,
because I didn't see John Leclerc holding the boo-boo party when he got traded here. He just won a cup.
Exactly.
No, they are equally my favorite player. I'm just gonna go with the 50-goal scorer, the guy who played with Lindros.
Yeah.
The Legion of Doom, that kind of like that's the prime Flyers time. So I just got Leclerc.
So speaking of the Legion of Doom guys, it comes down to 2 of those 3 guys on the line. You have Eric Lindros, the 1 seed. You've got John Leclerc, the 4, to determine who comes out of the Spectrum region of the best Flyers bracket. So if you would, as we've done always before, go ahead and text me what your thought process is. I have a feeling who is going to advance, as I get Steve's vote. And it's been an interesting tournament so far. You've got, like I said, you got Brian Dawkins.
John's got a cookie eating.
One word ha from John.
You already know.
It is a unanimous selection. Obviously, it's Eric Lindros who will advance into the Elite 8. I mean, for crying out loud, will you devote an entire episode, first topic to him? One of the all-time greats. So it's like, no surprise. No surprise it's Eric Lindros.
He's the greatest Flyer that sorry to spoil for the next.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah. One of the all-time greats. It's going to be difficult for that guy.
The next bracket is going to be just to see who loses to Eric Lindros.
It's like the Detroit Red Wings playing the Mighty Ducks, like the commercialized Disney version.
Yes, exactly.
Not the NHL franchise. That isn't the Mighty Ducks anymore.
Exactly. So that's it. So we'll flash up again our updated brackets. You got Dawkins, Schmidt, Lindros. That's a pretty good triple right there of great players so far, and we got 5 more regions left before we hit the Elite 8, and then the Elite 8 is going to be something else, guys. That tournament already is looking really, really sharp of guys that have made it in. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the next 5 regions in the next few weeks. So we'll see. Stay tuned. But for now, that closes episode 88 of Two Noobs Talking. Guys, we did it again. Great to be able to spend time with both of you. So, John, why don't we hit them up with our shameless plugs as we always do? Where can people find us, bud?
Awesome. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Clapper. We put little short videos out. Well, Steve put little short videos out. I steal them, and then I put them on everything else. And people like it, and we talk to you guys. And please keep interacting because Clapper's been fun last couple days of getting interaction. So keep it up. We'll put more out there, and we'll bring this to our YouTube channel so you can watch our full episode.
Heck yeah, that's the Two Noobs Talking podcast. We love it. Of course, if you like, share, subscribe, and get notified when our episodes drop. They appear every Wednesday at 7 p.m. But we love our views, and we love everyone just check us out. It's great. Steve, on the audio side, where can people listen to us?
I just want to remark on the paid sponsor today first, which is, I think last week's sponsor actually made more sense than this week.
True. I think that's why we didn't say anything. There's no reason.
No reason.
I don't speak that
But
way.
in a total non sequitur segue, on the audio side, we are hosted by Podbean, which gets us into all kinds of other trouble with places like Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
There you go.
Which sucks today because I just said so.
There you go. So that's it, guys.
Like the Rock used to say, know your role, shut your mouth, Spotify.
There you go. There you go. So that's it, guys. That hits the end of our episode. Episode 88. It's on to 89 next week.
Which is a surprise. Matt's not going to be here.
Not going to be here. We're going to be on vacay. So it'll be
Gone.
John and Steve only. So it'll be great to see you guys pull it off.
What will we do?
What will happen? Who will take over the hosting duties? Oh my God. What's going to happen?
We'll bring in an alien or something. Elon Musk probably not doing anything.
I guess that's me. I guess I am the resident alien of the group of the three of us. I guess, right?
No, you can only be replaced by aliens.
There you go. Till then, have a great week. Talk to you guys next week. Take care.
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed. That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore.